Hello, and welcome everyone to my channel. I'm David Starlight, and this is Starlight Meditation. Today I want to focus a little bit on gaining a perspective on 2020 and an awareness and vision of 2021. So we're going to look forward into the year to come. It's already February, so perhaps this is a month late. But a lot of you haven't even formulated goals for 2021 and you're still processing 2020. And we're still going through this time of tremendous transformation and chaos with COVID occurring. We're being tested. We've undergone fear, misinformation, perhaps ignorance, so many emotions that we've experienced, and ultimately confronting ourselves. Who are we as human beings in this world, and how prepared are we for this kind of situation? Because with all the technology that we have, did we really prepare for this kind of situation? I don't think so. So it's a lesson. It's a great lesson, and in every lesson there's an opportunity, and there are many archetypes that we're confronting, that we have to face, and it's an opportunity to go within and to work on the self and to work on stability and grounding into the earth, into one's home, connecting with the important people in our lives, our family and loved ones. We have to confront and acknowledge the losses that we've been through, the changes that we've been through, perhaps a certain awareness of what's happened with the media, with governments that previously we may have relied on, and now we can see that we cannot rely on the government for everything. We cannot rely on the media for everything. Beyond that, perhaps we're starting to see through the illusion and how the media is just giving a perspective, usually based on division and polarity consciousness, when in actual fact the truth is way more complex and nuanced than they like to give you. Whatever they portray certain politicians as, those politicians are human beings. They have many aspects to who they are. They're not just a caricature. So be very mindful of what the media is presenting and why. Why do they have their particular agenda? Who owns the media? Who is paying money to support the media? So follow the money, and often you'll see that there's a certain vision, that agenda or perspective that they give people, and it tends to be fear-based. Their currency is fear. So there's a lot of fear that gets expressed through the media. So just be aware of that, and I would promote or endorse definitely that you are mindful of the time you spend watching the news or having the media on. Just be aware of the effect of that on you. Feel what that feels like. By all means, stay informed, but just be aware of the effect of the media on your psyche and your feelings, your emotions, your sense of well-being. Because the chaos continues, and it will continue throughout 2021. It's not over. Media continues to promote their agendas, and it's important that we have a practice where we're able to step back and see what's really going on. Caroline May speaks about the perspective of, in a single building, say 20 stories high, 20 levels up. Each level has a different perspective on the world. The first level is fear-based, chaotic, intense, very solid forms, very basic life necessities. You could view it almost as the root chakra, the first chakra in the Vedic system. And then moving up all the way up to the top suite, the penthouse, where it's quiet, away from everything. You have a high view of the world. You can look out and see things from a higher perspective. It's a more spiritual perspective, as in the crown chakra. So that's just a very quick, call it an archetype, a way to view the world. How we get caught up in whatever level it is that we're playing at, or whatever level we're focusing on, and we forget that there's many levels, and there's not a right or a wrong. Each level has a valid perspective. So it's always important to listen and appreciate other perspectives. Yeah, there's no, from a spiritual perspective, there's no validity in left is right and right is wrong. Right is right and left is wrong, or whatever it is. These very polarized points of view are not helpful to further the conversation and create solutions. We all need to acknowledge that everyone has a point of view that deserves to be heard and recognized. And a lot of those point of views are very valid. All of them are valid, but some are really important, that we don't just take a sort of left perspective or a right perspective, whatever our political persuasion, that we acknowledge that both sides have some excellent solutions, some excellent perspectives, that actually, if we're looking for a more evolved world, then we need to combine both and come down to a centrist approach. Or we look at both sides and we come up with the best solution without political agendas or our subjective opinions. It's important to be able to function in the world with a perspective on neutrality, a perspective on seeing the world from a high consciousness. Call it a clearer vision of a higher consciousness. Call it what Caroline Myss talks about, being on the top level, the penthouse suite of a building, seeing the world from further out. But acknowledge that you may be on the first floor and that there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't want to seem like the one is you're up on the top floor, you're above someone who's on the bottom floor. We're all perfectly valid where we are, but there are differences in the world. And just coming back to the topic of this conversation about looking back at 2021, looking back at 2020 and looking forward to 2021, let's have a moment to be grateful for surviving, to be grateful for being here in 2021 and having these opportunities to connect, to talk to each other, to create and express ourselves creatively, and to take the lessons and the growth and the expansion from 2020, to take all of that, to take all those opportunities and use them for a higher good, because this is a crux. This is a pivot point where civilization is pivoting, and we have this chance to shift our perspective, to change how we do things, to change business, to change technology, to change how we do things on a practical level and how we see the world, moving more towards an Aquarian world, which is more egalitarian, more equal and balanced between the masculine and the feminine energies. I always like to talk about non-duality because that's a really important perspective to me, that we see all these polar opposites and all these terribly extreme battles that go on politically, these divisions between people, even among families, along family lines, we see these divisions. So very important we acknowledge that duality is a human condition, and it exists from this perspective. And move your perspective upwards, and it's not real anymore. Move your perspective beyond it. The person you see before you, a man, is a being, is a soul. It's not stuck in the masculine or stuck in the feminine. It's an expression of the divine, which is what we are. We are human beings having a spiritual experience, and we are expressions of the divine. So what are the opportunities looking forward to 2021? I would present them to you as learning from our experience, gaining wisdom. Always look to operate from wisdom, from a deeper side of yourself, from the intuition, from the heart center. Always look within for answers because you can't find them on the outside all the time. If you're looking for a high perspective, it will come from the inside usually. Connection to gratitude is really important. Being gratitude, I spoke briefly about that, being grateful for being here. So we start with a positive perspective. Thank you, I'm here. I get to breathe. I get to communicate. I get to express myself in the world. And connection to life. Intrinsically, life is sacred. The natural world is a miracle, and even human cities, human designed places are part of nature. We are part of nature. Perhaps we forgot that. Perhaps we disconnected from that. But we are intrinsically a part of nature. So the more you're in tune with these natural forces, the more things that will occur that call them synchronicities will occur. Call it connection to life, connection to the world around us. Important that we appreciate nature and beauty just for the reverence of it. And that helps us to feel better about our place in the world. Acknowledge that there's a sacred spark within all of life, and that helps us build and develop respect and honor the beings, the people, the animals, all that are involved in the process of life. Further, coming back to the higher perspective, having an understanding of unity, consciousness, and the indivisibility of all energy. Our energy is undivided and indivisible, and we're all part of this energy that's called oneness. Well, we're all part of this oneness energy. And we all have a desire to grow and develop, from a tree, a plant, a flower, to an animal, to a human being. We all have a desire to learn and grow. And it's wonderful to have the opportunity to be able to learn and grow and express ourselves in our uniqueness. Question, just to end off this segment, what is your vision for 2021? What is your vision for yourself? And what is your vision for the world? So please share with me in the comments below. I'm going to end the stream of David. I'm David Starlyte, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you today. I wish you all the best success and happiness, joy and fulfillment and good health to you and your family in 2021. Uphold the vision of being a unified world, respecting each other, loving each other. Always start by loving the self. So I hope that was helpful to you. Definitely, it's been an honor to communicate with you today, and lots of love. Bye.